Welcome. This is Book Talk with Corbin, and I am your host. Today I'm going to go over, sort of dissect a Facebook post. And I chose this Facebook post for us to sort of examine and really look at critically because it is so typical. The attitude, the words, the language is so typical of black radical liberals in the Democratic Party. And I don't want to say liberals in the Democratic Party because I believe, as many other talk show hosts believe, is that there's a difference between Democratic Party liberals and classical liberals. There's a difference between Democratic Party liberals and classical liberals. The vast majority of Democratic Party liberals are, in reality, cultural Marxists. They are radical liberals. They are, they hate the United States of America. They have a disdain and a bitterness towards white people, Western culture. They are not patriots, etc. On down the line. The Democratic Party of today, it was not the Democratic Party of LBJ, the Kennedys, etc. I honestly believe that if you were to compare like Kennedy speeches with what some of what you're hearing coming out of the Democratic Party of late, it would be almost a night and day. If Kennedy was to come back thinking the way he did then, come back today, he would probably be considered as part of the so-called moderate wing of the Republican Party, or he'd just be considered a conservative, flat out. But anyway, that's not the point. I want to talk about this quote here. So let's sort of dissect this quote bit by bit. Okay, here's the beginning of the quote. Only an idiot does not believe, in quotation marks, in systemic racism because it is a quintessential feature in American history. Even fourth graders know that. We can't get better without embracing the problem and finding solutions. To ignore or fantasize a problem doesn't exist is just plain ridiculous and insulting, really. And part of why there's literally no blacks in the GOP, we don't need Uncle Toms. We need solutions. Let's take this a little bit apart here because this is like similar, again, this is like typical black radical liberal thinking. Those who are deep into the Democratic Party. It harkens back to the criticism right here a lot of the black radicals here in Louisville, Kentucky have with Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. He's a black man, he's a Republican, he's a believer. And they've said just all sorts of absurd things about him. One thing you notice, though, is that they constantly have this character attack against him. They can't battle him one-on-one over ideas. It's this constant character attack against him. And that's something, in another broad podcast, I'm going to talk about that. But let's start off here with this comment right here. Only an idiot doesn't believe in systemic racism. Well, first of all, I've never come across anybody, whether they're a black conservative, a white conservative, a Latino, Asian conservative, conservative period, who says systemic racism never existed in the United States of America. As a matter of fact, one of the best documentations of systemic racism in the United States is by a conservative. And his name is Dinesh D'Souza. And I think the name of the book is End of Racism. Absolutely brilliant piece. Absolutely brilliant piece. And, no one's denying that. I've never heard of any black conservative saying systemic racism never exists in the United States of America. I mean, have you? Daniel Cameron, Dr. Soul, the late Dr. Walter Williams, Dr. Allen with Cure, Star Parker with Cure, cure.org. I've never heard any of them say anything like that. Brigitte Gabrielle, I've never heard her say anything like that. Nothing close to it. I think what this person is missing, and I don't know if this person is deliberately doing this or he's just doing this out of ignorance. We're simply stating, we meaning the vast majority of black conservatives. I don't want to be someone who starts saying I speak for black conservatives. Now, I give black conservatives, the United States of America, a forum from which to speak. This is their forum as far as I'm concerned. If you're black American, you're conservative, you got something to say, you need to give me a call. You need to send me an email, and we need to work something out as far as having you on my podcast is concerned. I exist to give voice to black conservatives in the United States of America, period. I soon will start, I guess you might say, branching off into reaching out to the conservatives of African descent in Canada, England, Ghana, South Africa, wherever they might be around the world. So let's go back to this. Only an idiot doesn't believe in systemic racism. Well, I've never heard that coming from a black conservative that doesn't exist, because it's a quintessential feature in American history. Now, I have some problems with that, quintessential. I think another liberal term is foundational. If you only see the United States of America through the prism of race, you've missed it. You've missed a good part of what the United States of America is all about. Why it's one of the greatest success stories in human history. As far as liberty is concerned, as far as freedom is concerned, as far as economic stability and prosperity is concerned, you've missed it if you're only seeing it through the prism of racism. If you're only seeing America through the prism of race, you're missing it. And really, at one point, you got to sort of wonder, what are you talking about? I mean, how many Western nations have you that you can point to who elected a person of color, in this situation, Barack Obama, a black man, not once but twice? As the President of the United States, he's the leader of the free world. He was the head of one of the most powerful, he was commander-in-chief of one of the most powerful militaries in the world. We didn't elect him once, we elected him twice. First Lady, she was a black woman. His wife, black woman, she was there. And folks, even before him, on the local level, state level, national level, cabinet appointments, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of black folk have been elected into public office. Secretary of State, on the National Security Council, ambassadors, mayors, city councils. I mean, what are you talking about? And this is where I think black conservatives, well, speaking for myself, where is that systemic racism today, right now? Okay, we got it about 1863, etc., but right now, where is it at now? Because if it does exist now, you should be able to show me documentation that says, hey, this company over here discriminates against people because of the color of their skin. Hey, this company over here discriminates against people because of the color of their skin. Hey, this company over here discriminates against people because of the color of their skin. Hey, this corporation, what is it, UPS, Kroger, Tesla, Amazon? Are they denying black people jobs? Are they, because of race, are they denying black people management opportunities because of race? Are they denying black folk opportunities to be a vendor or something because of race? I mean, if it's true, show it to me. Show me the documentation. Actually, don't even waste your time. Well, yeah, show me the documentation and then sue them. Because it's against the law, dude. I mean, it's against the law. And I'm telling you, right here, Louisville, Kentucky, some Metro Councilwoman said, continuous discrimination in the city of Louisville. Hello? Where? I'm not saying it does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? And once you have that proof or evidence, I strongly suggest you go to the mayor's office or the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights, present your proof, present your evidence. Those guys are going to be sued out of existence. They're going to be gone. That's it. They're going to have to start cutting some checks. And trust me, somebody's going to lose their job. So where's your proof? You said it's happening right now. And we're saying, this black conservative is saying, well, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? Job, employment, business, housing, I don't care. Where is your proof? Where's your evidence? I'm not saying it does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying, where is it? Because if it does exist somewhere, it's against the law. Period. Let's go on a little bit more with this quote. Doesn't exist is just plain ridiculous and insulting, really. Again, I'm not saying the problem does exist. I'm not saying the problem doesn't exist. I'm saying, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? Present it. What, are they discriminating against black folk in the military? The Navy? Air Force? Special Forces? Are they discriminating against black folk in the restaurant business? Where? I mean, high tech? I mean, where? Show us the proof, show us the evidence, present it to a civil rights lawyer. If you're here in Louisville, you can easily just take it to the mayor's office, take your proof to the mayor's office or the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights, and I'm telling you, from that point forward, that company's going down the drain. Even if they're not engaged in racial discrimination, the mere fact that somebody put together, some information that even alludes to it, oh man, they're gonna jump through hoops. They're gonna jump through hoops to avoid that, get away from that. Don't we also have a federal agency called the Equal Employment Opportunity, EEO, something like that? I mean, what are you talking about? It's against the law. Racial discrimination is against the law. So where is this systemic racism today? Show it to me. Show it to me. Now, my grandparents, on my father's side, on my mother's side, they can tell you about some discrimination. They can tell you about Jim Crow. My grandmother told me about how one time she was with her father and they drove through Indianapolis, capital of Indiana. I believe it's the capital of Indiana, but it was Indianapolis. And she was told to hunker down in the back seat. The person driving was a light-skinned black person, so he could pass for white. They had just hung a black man in the public square. Hung that guy right there. Okay, let's fast forward to today. Are you telling me lynchings are happening today? Really? Seriously? Well, let's document that. And even if you say it does, definitely wasn't at the level it was, many, many years ago. And even if it does exist today, they're held accountable. The people who commit such a crime are held accountable. Just like the black drug dealers who shoot down other black people. Like, kill them and then stuff them in the trunk of a rented car. I wonder why I brought that up. I wonder why I brought that up. I wonder why I brought that up. Maybe you need to do a little research on that Breonna Taylor situation. I mean, dude, if I rented a car, let somebody use it, and then later on the police are knocking on my door saying, hey, we're not suspecting you of killing anybody, but we did find this suspected drug dealer dead in your car. Who did you loan the car to? But I digress. Again, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Racial discrimination in the United States of America is against the law. Now, if you want to talk about personal racism, well, you go talk about it. Who cares? You go talk about it. Who cares? That's not keeping me from getting a job. That's not keeping me from getting health care. It's not keeping me from voting. I don't care if some white guy likes me and doesn't like me. Who cares? Who cares? What does it matter? That's petty. And it's got nothing to do with public policy. That's nothing we need to discuss in national debates. Oh, some white guy, he didn't like me. My black son wanted to date his white daughter, and he didn't like it. He didn't like the idea. Oh, so what? Please. We got more serious issues to deal with. And that's not an issue for the government to get involved in. Are you really that weak? I hope not. Let's go on with the rest of this. And why there's literally no blacks in the GOP. We don't need Uncle Toms. We need solutions. Well, that statement about literally no blacks in the GOP, I'm not so sure about that. I'm really not so sure about that. I think there are a lot of blacks who are decidedly moving towards conservatism and and sort of aligning themselves with the Republican Party. But a lot of the reason why you don't have them be so forthcoming and publicly saying so is the humiliation, the verbal violence that's leveled against them. Some of them legitimately fear for their lives. I mean, not fear for their lives, but fear over losing their jobs, losing their businesses, for no other reason other than to be black and conservative, black and Republican. Literally. That's no exaggeration. That's one reason why I have established this podcast, and I am very, very supportive, try to be as supportive as humanly possible, supportive of other black conservatives doing podcasts, because we have to get over that fear. I mean, it's a very real fear, and it's a very real danger, but we have to work through that for the sake of this country and for the sake of our people. We have to work through that, we being black conservatives. And then two, we don't need Uncle Toms, we need solutions. We do need Uncle Toms. We do need Uncle Toms. We do need Uncle Toms. Go to youtube.com, put in there Larry Elder, Uncle Tom. Check out Larry Elder's movie, Uncle Tom. And I think it's the website for it is uncletom.com. We do need more Uncle Toms. Read the book. Lord have mercy, read the book. Read the book, Uncle Tom by Harry Beecher Stowe. And check out what Dr. Allen of Urban Cure, what he has written about that book, Uncle Tom. Check him out. Dr. Allen. He's with urbancure.org. Check his book out. Buy that book. Read his essays. No, I'm sorry. We need more Uncle Toms. Then it says here, we need solutions. I'm going to conclude with that. We need solutions. We do need solutions. You know, any group of people facing problems should, need some solutions. But sometimes it's more important to come to the right question than the right solution. Yeah, read some Plato if you're not quite following me on that. Secondly, one solution, or more of the solutions we don't need, is government initiated, government controlled. There are some things the government does real well, and there are some things the government does not do so well. And black folk in America, particularly in urban areas, if we haven't learned that by now, after 40, 50, 60 years, I don't know when we're going to learn it, if we're going to learn it. Read some of the books by Jason Riley. Please Stop Helping Us. Again, go to urbancure.org. Check out what Star Parker has to say. Yeah, we need solutions, but we don't need more government solutions. And we don't need poverty pimp solutions. I'm sorry. National Urban League, NAACP, no. Sorry, guys. We need to do for self. That is a long-held tradition in the black community. Something that these white radicals and liberals want to deny. And of course they deny that because of their racist attitude towards black people. Fundamentally, they are just as racist, if not more racist, than any Klansman. We have a long tradition in the black community that I sort of refer to as doing for self. We do for self. Booker T. Washington was an ex-slave. And what did he do? He built Tuskegee University. Go check out the history of Tuskegee University. Don't just read his autobiography, Up From Slavery, but he's also got other books that he put out. And read those books. And it is one thing that fascinates me, how what he did at Tuskegee is so similar to what happened at Berea College in Berea, Kentucky. And one thing that happened was that Booker T. Washington said, through his actions, we must do for self. We must do for self. And when he had students and teachers, they made the necessary sacrifices to get that school started. Building the business, building the buildings, cleaning, everything, raising the food, everything. And then he would go out and share his story with black folk and white folk, and they would say, hey, yeah, I support that. Let me give you some money for that. one of the wealthiest men at that time, and really one of the wealthiest men in recorded human history, was Andrew Carnegie. And Carnegie just loved Booker T. Washington to death. Why? He was a man who taught the philosophy of do for self. And no one owes you anything because of the color of your skin. And no one is entitled or should be forced to give you something because of the color of their skin or the color of your skin. But if you're out there doing for self and you're doing a daggone good job, hey, and someone wants to help you, and that someone doesn't appear to be, is not of your same race, they have a different skin color, amen. God bless the giver, and may we pray that God gives the recipient strength. Added gratitude. Someone wants to help you do for self, man, take that money and express gratitude. I'm going to tell you, that's when people are really going to give to you, out of the heart. That's when they're really going to give to you. But you got to express some gratitude, and you need to stop this entitlement mentality. Oh, you owe me. Man, I don't owe you nothing. No one owes me nothing. You better go somewhere else with that madness. Booker T. Washington. Check out him, Tuskegee University, and his books, his writings. And there are so many examples like him all throughout the history of black folk in the United States of America. I mean, going back to the 17th century. Going back to the 17th century. But what's happened of late is that the whole black experience has been hijacked by left-wing nut jobs and the cultural Marxists. But we'll get into that later. So we've dissected this comment here, and I hope you guys learned something. Hope you gained something. Please share this podcast with others. Let others know about this podcast. This is Book Talk with Corbin, and I'm your host.